In the previous part. After his death, the famous esports player Jiang discovers that he has been summoned as a skeleton in a video game. He was summoned by a low-level necromancer girl. The guy quickly realizes that if he wants to understand why he ended up here, he needs to become stronger and reach his former boss. To do this, he must fight secret bosses in the game. Together with his partner, they begin their journey. The girl wants to earn money through the game to pay for her education in real life. On their way, they find a hidden location with monsters. Skeleton Jiang quickly defeats them and gradually levels himself up. But the two also run into a gang that owns this territory. With cleverness, the guy defeats them, but to do so, he has to awaken a powerful secret boss. Skeleton Jiang engages in battle with the monster and defeats it. Before being destroyed, the defeated enemy grants Jiang a piece of his power. The girl, arriving at the scene of the battle, sees a massive body of the fallen monster falling from the sky. We're being transported to the headquarters of the Tiger Hunter Guild. Someone asks Boss Chung to listen to an explanation. Boss Chung looks at the tablet showing the failure of the operation and calls the team garbage. He scolds his subordinates for the loss of territory and the huge losses caused by their failure. One of the men asks for forgiveness, but Boss is going to execute one of the men involved so that the others will not be punished. Boss Chang asks if they were alone when they were defeated, looking at the golf clubs. He swings the club near the man's face and learns that the four-man squad was unable to defeat an opponent whose level didn't even reach level 10. The subordinate tries to explain the situation, but Chang wouldn't listen to him. Wiping the blood from his hands, he is not happy that he has to keep such incompetent people. Chung is furious when he learns that the actions of his subordinates led to the player finding a hidden boss in the bear's territory and calls them garbage. He is reassured by the fact that it didn't happen in the valley, so he asks Viper's assistant how their plans for the valley are going. The assistant assures him that everything is under control and there shouldn't be any problems. The boss says that the bear territory is no longer important, but it is necessary to find the newcomer and get rid of him. Viper assures the boss that they'll get it done. We go back to Bear Mountain. The girl is cursing at her skeletons for being slow and lazy, not like that skeleton. Jiang Cheng is sitting on the sidelines thinking about something. The girl admires him because her first skeleton was able to kill the boss alone. The other skeletons silently continue to collect the loot from the defeated bear. The girl pumped herself up to level 10 and changed her equipment. The screen shows the characteristics of the equipment the girl received, the fierce bear tail belt and the fierce bear boots. She asks Jiang Cheng to look at her new gear, noticing how cool it looks. The skeleton agrees that it's beautiful, but he's more surprised by her stats. The girl shows off her wealth, a huge amount of loot, including the cores of elite bears and wolves. She plans to use the loot to improve her skills and enrich herself in real life to pay for her studies. The girl notices one of the skeletons is lazy to dismantle the materials. She scolds him for spoiling valuable materials by disassembling them incorrectly. Jiang Cheng is unhappy that the girl is using the expensive equipment as jewelry and is looking forward to getting rid of it. The guy looks at his improved characteristics after evolution. He likes the new skill, Bone Fighter Defense, which allows him to shoot bone arrows. Jiang Cheng notices that this skill has helped him in battle, causing huge damage to the enemy, but at the same time wastes a lot of resources. The system informs him that the hidden evolution path has been unlocked and that he needs to get evolution points quickly. The skeleton realizes that killing bosses is the fastest way to get the necessary points. The girl says that to strengthen her skeleton servants, she needs to improve her necromancer specialization, and she needs to try harder. Strengthening a skeleton servant will increase all of the skeleton girl's stats by 30%. Jiang Cheng realizes that she needs to help her because if the girl becomes stronger, so will he, since they are connected. The girl notices a treasure chest. The treasure chest turns out to be of purple rank, which makes her very happy. Jiang Cheng speculates about the contents of the chest, assuming that it contains materials to strengthen weapons. He is amazed at what he sees in the chest. The chest reveals a rare skill book suitable for all classes, with the Thunder Strike skill. A guy is surprised to see such rich loot from a low-level boss, assuming it's because of the first kill. The girl asks the skeleton if she wants that skill book. She says that she's gotten a lot of materials and money thanks to him, and she wants to thank him. The guy is surprised that she gave him the book. Maybe he was wrong about her. The girl is excited at the prospect of getting rich quickly. The skeleton reads the description of a skill that allows him to attack several monsters at once. He gets the skill Thunder Strike. The skeleton warrior successfully learns the skill Thunderstrike, and the game displays his characteristics. The girl asks the skeleton to use it, but the guy is a little worried as he hasn't felt this feeling of getting a new skill for a long time. Chung activates it, feeling a surge of strength. He uses Thunderstrike, emitting lightning bolts and slicing through the devers who were nearby. The girl is delighted by the power of Thunderbolt. Chen thought for a moment. He realizes that he can attack several opponents at once, but the girl stands behind him and is happy that they will be able to loot faster. Skeleton realizes that he can use evolution points to improve his skills. The guy decides to invest all the evolution points in improving Thunderstrike to increase the amount of use of the skill. The girl is startled by the sudden powerful energy release. Cheng transforms, his aura changes, he becomes stronger. The guy has improved his Thunderstrike skill to level 5. He wants to see how much stronger the attack has become. The powerful blow causes an explosion of energy, the ground cracks. The energy wave from the impact dissipated, leaving destruction in its wake. The scorched earth was left where the trees were. He was able to get the desired result. Chung is about to move on and grabs the girl's arm. He throws her behind his back and moves out to look for the next quest. The girl's characteristics are shown: low level and weak combat power. After the discovery of the Great Wasteland, the game's artificial intelligence created many new plots, locations, and enemies, and the game system was changed. New dungeons were created in which there is a chance to find hidden with valuable rewards, but it is not so easy to find them. Various guilds are trying to capture territories, trying to find and fulfill the conditions for opening hidden dungeons. A group of knights have arrived at the location. It is the entrance to the territory of the Veil. One of the knights encounters a small creature with crystals. His comrade advises him to stay away from them. The whole area is full of different creatures and insects. The knights discuss that the boss has been controlling Bear Mountain for a long time and was close to discovering the secret boss. But someone stole the loot right out from under his nose, and now he is angry. The team doesn't understand why they were sent here and what they're waiting for. The knight in red explains that the hidden bosses don't respawn again, so the bear's territory has lost value, unlike the Veil, and they need to help defend it and prevent someone from finding the dungeon. He also says that they can lure and capture the player who devastated the bear's territory if he showed up in the valley, and will take all of his loot. The knights ask their commander, Big Bro, the knight in red, how he knows the players will show up here. He says that due to the low level of the target, they won't be able to turn off the path the game will give them, and they will have to go through this area. One of the knights admires Big Bro's intelligence, noting that he was the smartest student for a reason. He also says that he heard a rumor that the necromancer player weighs 200 pounds and is very creepy and perverted. They express disgust at such perverted games. Big Bro says he hates perverted players too, but he is ready to join the fight. The knights explain that their armor provides high protection against physical damage, but they have low magical protection. They are confident that their divine power will suppress the necromancer's summons, and she will be easy to capture. The second knight enthusiastically supports the plan, praising his elder brother's strategy. Suddenly, one of the knights is struck by a dark energy coming out of nowhere. The knights are subjected to a powerful attack. With their backs against their backs, they try to understand the origin of the attack. One of them notices that it is not just an attack, but a spell. One of the guys assumes that they are facing a hidden boss, but his comrade says that it's clearly a mage player dealing massive magical damage. The knights panic. Their armor doesn't protect them from the magical attack, and they realize they have no magical protection. Big Bro yells, "Screw it, retreat! If we don't run away, we'll all be killed!" The player's powerful attack kills one of the knights, and a message appears on the screen announcing his death. The girl orders her skeletons to collect money from the slain knights. Sitting on Chung's shoulder, the girl drinks a mana potion, and the skeleton next to her is surprised by her greed. The guys thought they were mobs, but realized they ran into players. Cheng is surprised that his attack was able to hit and kill all of them, and it's strange that they were hiding in the bushes. He notices the sign of the Tiger Hunters Guild. He realized that they were waiting for him. He knew the guild's territory was big, but he didn't think it was that big. Chung realizes that he needs information to get through the valley safely. Suddenly, the girl notices a live red knight in the bushes. Big Bro, stunned by the power of the attack, realizes his error in calculation when faced with the incredible strength of the enemy. Realizing that he won't make any money in this fight, his arm is pierced by a powerful sword attack. The knight decides to call for reinforcements. He has no time to react. The attack shreds the knight's arm, doing serious damage. The knight sees the warrior skeleton and realizes that it is the necromancer's summoning. Chung decides to secure himself by removing the knight's armor and tying him up. The girl doesn't realize what he is doing. The girl is surprised to see that the captive is a woman, not a man as she expected. It was a beautiful red-haired girl scolds the skeleton, calling him a pervert. The girl scolds Chung for taking off her armor. It looks very strange. The skeleton tries to explain that the captivity of the knight was necessary to keep her from leaving the game and calling for reinforcements. Chung is concerned about the captive knight, noticing something strange in her behavior. The captive is very angry that she would be tortured by pathetic players like these two. The girl apologizes to the redhead for the inconvenience and says they want to ask some questions. The knightess prefers death to humiliation and torture. She vows not to give out any information. Even on pain of death, Chung comes closer. The girl realizes that the skeleton is forced to act and has a plan B. The knightess is in a state of shock at what has happened. Chung holds up a bag of silver coins, hinting that he is willing to buy information. The redhead is silent with her head down. The girl panics that the redhead somehow killed herself, and it was a stupid plan since she wasn't interested in money. The guys are about to leave as the girl asks them to wait. The redhead holds a cross in her teeth and declares that she is ready to answer the skeleton's questions. Chung is very happy. Now he can find out the information he needs. But he can't speak and will have to communicate through this girl somehow. A view of the valley from which screams are heard. The necromancer girl screams that they are not perverts. The redhead has mistaken them for someone else. The knight agrees to answer all the skeleton's questions. The guys promise to pay her if she doesn't lie. The knight is surprised that the guys have so much money. The redhead says she admires what the girl did at Bear Mountain. The redhead assures the girl that she's not a pervert and she won't let them down and offers to cooperate. Chung grabs her arm and insinuates that she is talking too much. The girl is surprised that the knightess was planning an attack on them and now wants to cooperate, finding it suspicious. The redhead explains that the Tiger Hunters Guild has a grudge against her and that her companions are just mercenaries who need money. She says that despite the losses they suffered in the battle, they made up for it by getting a lot of money from the guys. The knight assures her that no one will know of their presence since she reported to her boss that everything is fine, only an attack by an elite monster, and promises to return the equipment. She adds that it makes no sense for her to betray the guys since she's interested in the money, and the necromancer girl believes her. The redhead hugs the girl and makes her feel uncomfortable. The knight assures that the ambush for the boys was the knight's initiative, not the guild's order. And the players who were sent to capture the boys are still in the mountains and won't be able to catch up with them. The red-haired girl is sucking up, saying that even if they catch up with them, a strong necromancer like the girl will be able to defeat them. But the girl is embarrassed and modest, saying that she was just lucky. The knightess warns the boys that the territory of the valley is not easy to pass through. She explains that the valley has always been guarded by the guild and the players, and recently reinforcements have been sent there. The knight tells them that something happened in the center of the valley, and that the whole area is being patrolled. She adds that there are groups of players above level 15 everywhere. But the main problem is the strongest player in the guild is not easy to defeat. And the necromancer girl is a key player that many people are after, and she's too easy to recognize because she's a loner and a level 10 necromancer. Nidus advises that if she wants to go through the valley and change her specialization, she should think of a safe way. Skeleton realizes that the situation is more complicated than he thought. Chung recalls the changes in the game system. The Valley Dungeon is the result of an NPC quest that was given in this area. Players who perform activities in this area will eventually be able to receive a quest from an NPC, the fulfillment of which can unlock hidden dungeons. Due to the fact that the Great Wasteland is constantly changing, there are new missions from NPCs that are not like the previous ones. Chung doesn't know exactly what the mission will be and doesn't have enough experience to activate it. There is no time to get pumping points because they can be discovered. The guy looks around the area, noticing the knight's armor. Looking at the characteristics and prices of the equipment, he gets an idea. The redhead screams at the idea. The guys suggest that the skeleton should wear the guild gear so that no one will recognize him and the redhead will guide them into the heart of the valley. The redhead does not agree with this plan. She just wants to make money, and if they are caught together, they will be expelled from the guild. The necromancer girl offers to pay the redhead 1 silver coin, but she doesn't agree because it's not enough. The necromancer is indignant, complaining that she is poor, but the redhead doesn't believe her. Chung, having no other choice, offers the captive 1 gold coin. The girl tries to stop him, but the redhead agrees. The redhead agrees to pass through the dangerous territory of the valley, but she only undertakes to lead them to a certain place. She warns the boys that the path will be dangerous, and they will face not only players but monsters as well, so they should listen to her. The redhead gives additional instructions about the necessity to hide their information and not to summon skeleton minions. With a bit of disguise, the group is ready to march, and they agree on the distribution of the loot. The knightess walks ahead, making her way through the crowds of monsters. The girl brags about the strength of her skeleton, emphasizing that the number of monsters is not a problem. A powerful dark energy bursts out. Cheng receives a large amount of evolution points for destroying monsters. The knightess is surprised by the skeleton warrior having a skill that strikes many monsters at once. Since Redhead has forbidden the girl from summoning skeletons, the girl orders Redhead to collect all the materials. Disgruntled, she performs the material gathering, but will take some of the experience and money for herself. The redhead warns that there will be a level 15 stone golem ahead, which requires cooperation to defeat. Cheng attacks the golem, gaining 400 evolution points. The knightess scolds, saying that's not all, there's a giant python ahead. The skeleton deals a powerful blow, gaining 400 evolution points. The huge serpent is defeated. The redhead says that's not all, there's a huge spider ahead. The six-eyed spider is defeated. Cheng has no problem dealing with it. The knight is shocked by the skeleton's strength. She can't believe the player can have such power. She does not understand how this is possible, because he has reached only level 10. The necromancer girl rejoices at her skeleton's victories. The redhead decides not to stray too far from the guys. Suddenly, there is a cry for help through the trees. The girls notice some player. The guy, in a panic, runs away from the huge, angry man screaming for help. The redhead notices a Tiger Hunter's Guild badge on the guy's clothes. They don't understand why the player looks like a small child. Redhead explains that when you create a character, the game copies what you look like in real life. A guy begs for help, explaining that his stalker has gone crazy and captured his friends. The enraged man, the guy's stalker, vows to kill anyone who gets in his way. The man is about to attack, clenching his fist. He stops and swings his huge hand. The guy looks at him with terror in his eyes. There is a powerful explosion that shakes the ground. Cheng grabs the girls and runs away. The necromancer girl almost vomits from such sudden movements. The knight is surprised that the skeleton was able to dodge the attack so quickly. She begins to realize that this is no ordinary skeleton being summoned. Cheng notices that the man has high defense characteristics and armored arms, but his health is poorly pumped as he is still fierce, coughing up blood. The boy, thinking that Cheng is a real knight, attacks the man with his sword while he is weak, but the skeleton does not have such skills, and if he shows his own, he will reveal himself. This guy is a poacher, and although he looks like a level 11 weakling, he was able to do some serious damage to a level 18 player. The stalker, despite being wounded, glares furiously at the guy and calls them nasty bastards. The redhead is offended by such accusations against her. After all, she hasn't done anything to him. But for him, the fact that they met at his patu and didn't fuck the guy already shows that these guys are bastards. The man activates the blood dance skill, his body wrapped in a bloody aura. The knightess orders the skeleton to leave while she prepares to fight. The man tries to hit her with his fist, but the girl deftly blocks the blow. Cheng notes that she's not that bad. The man, badly wounded, struggles to pronounce that the man in front of him is a divine paladin. The knightess asks the man if he thinks she is so easily intimidated. He is not worthy of life. The knightess powerfully attacks the man, throwing him backwards. Before he can touch the ground, Cheng appears behind him. The man notices the dark energy. A quick and accurate strike from the warrior skeleton decapitates the stalker, and a message appears saying the player is dead. Cheng gets 150 evolution points for killing the player. His level rises. The boy calls him a magical swordsman in shock. The boy looks at the blue loot that fell from the dead player, noting his looting skills. The redhead comes up to the guy and starts asking him what group he belongs to and why she doesn't know him, but the guy says he's his own and it's no wonder she doesn't know him. Suddenly, he starts running away and calls the guys after him. He leads them through the woods and asks them to stay close so they don't get lost. The guy says that what the guys will see will surprise them and is happy that they are guild players and helped in the fight. The red-haired girl asks him who his boss is. The guy says their boss is Ghostbat. The red-haired girl knows his boss. He recently rose up the ranks quickly, but she thought he would be running the operation at the center. The guy says he's glad to be in this guild since they make a lot of money through boss missions. Cheng notices a player in a tree who begs to be destroyed. He doesn't want to play anymore. Captured players can't click on their game menu to leave the game. The redhead is shocked at what she sees before her. One of the players has fallen into a pit of spikes. His health is too low, but he can't reach his menu. The boy brags that all these traps were created by him. He's caught and tortured dozens of players this way, and he's proud of it. The red-haired girl realizes that their gang is preying on the players. The boy admits that their gang takes the players their bows, but won't let them go, lest they tell others about the traps. The red-haired girl is outraged that the knights are using children to hunt players and asks if the guild leader knows about it. Naming red-headed girl. Flower Anaconda, someone calls her out, saying she took off her helmet, and her comrades are surprised she's a woman. The ghost bat squad appears, led by Shadow Leopard. Leopard Shadow looks at something in surprise. He notices the necromancer girl's expensive cloak and wonders where she got it. But instantly Chung's sword stops near his throat. Shadow Leopard declares that they are friends and there is no need to panic. They are from the Tiger Hunters Guild, so partners, and asks Redhead to calm her friends down. The Redhead asks everyone to calm down and keep their distance. She is surprised at the girl's abilities, as she can control the skeleton even unconscious, and whether or not the necromancer has really lost consciousness. The boy runs to Shadow of the Leopard and tells him that he has gotten rid of the brawler, but the knight says nothing. The enraged knight scolds his subordinate for his failure, calling him trash and pathetic for letting the prisoner escape. The boy apologizes to his boss and swears that such a thing won't happen again. Shadow Leopard orders the others to gather quickly. The redhead asks if the guild leader knows what they are doing. Leopard replies that he is just following orders from his older brother Bat. She grabs him by his clothes, demanding answers to her questions, but he only asks Redhead if she has come to help them in the defense of the valley. The knight is perplexed as to why she is so angry, and anyway, everyone should listen to Bat's orders in this territory, even them. The redhead is angry, and Chung tries to calm her down, but Leopard says that if the guys don't want to be removed from the territory, they should listen to the boss and asks them to follow him. He adds that the boss will find some mission for the boys. As they approach the camp, the boy starts shouting to the others to help him carry the loot he has collected. The boys see the camp in front of them, which is full of children who are collecting loot from the captured players. Chung notes that all the helpers are children who have become poachers. Leopard reassures the red-haired girl, saying that the ones they use are orphans who need to survive somehow, and their actions are a kind of charity. Chung can't believe that the Tiger Hunters Guild is using children to hunt players and loot their loot. He assumes that the guild is exploiting a loophole in the game since it was recently released, and they are worried about their whereabouts being leaked, so they won't let the players go. He realizes that this is related to a secret mission. Chung ponders what the secret mission is. He has no clues yet, which means he will have to gather more information while the red-haired girl is once again taking out her anger on Leopard. The red-haired girl seems strange, which alarms Skeleton. The red-haired girl assures Skeleton that everything is fine, and she will remind him of their arrangement, but he feels uncomfortable. The red-haired girl suggests going to the center of the camp to get a new assignment. They enter the tent. A group of knights in the camp are surprised to see the girl. The knights discuss that this is Flower Anaconda. Few have seen her without a helmet. There were rumors that the boss wanted to recruit her to the team, but she broke his nose. Some of the knights are just amazed by the girl's beauty. One of the knights says that he heard about her childhood. She grew up in an orphanage and her brother is handicapped, and now it's clear why she doesn't like it here. Chung hears this and begins to understand why she reacts the way she does to the use of children in the guild. One of the knights turns to Anaconda. He has a few words for her. The knight is aware of her background and the harsh conditions of her childhood, but advises her to be careful, that despite her feelings, the guild's priorities are profit. He's not happy with the boss's methods either, but that's his job. He adds that she is not allowed to take the loot, but she can get a portion of the profits. Anaconda agrees to the knight's proposal. Chung sympathizes with the girl's childhood and what she has to see now. He is very upset that things are as bad in this game as they are in reality, though they shouldn't be. Anaconda says the boys need to change their names, so she gives them nicknames. Necromancer will be called Milk Cow, and her conscript will be called Electric Donkey. She asks them to go into a tent. Inside the tent, a kerosene lamp flickers and excited whispers are heard. Oh, how exciting! A fat man in glasses with his mouth wide open and tongue sticking out exclaims, "Not bad. Not bad at all." This was the boss Ghost Bat, a nasty fat karatish man who bullied the players. Anaconda saying his name, Ghost Bat. He was surprised to see her without a helmet. The boss says that he always liked her. He compliments her and comes closer and closer. Anaconda stabs him in the stomach and yells that she doesn't want to hear this nonsense. She came to get the job done. The fat man is in pain, but he smiles. Anaconda looks at him angrily, ordering him to tell him about the mission. Fatty explains the new mission to Anaconda. Their job is to defend the camp area and not let anyone in, but the girl resents this. The fat boss, smiling slyly, says that he has no other mission, which makes the girl even angrier. Anaconda threatens to tell the guildmaster about the children, but Fatty smiles, saying that it was the master's plan and he is only carrying it out. Bat reminds him of how Anaconda once wanted to reach the top with her brothers, so now is her chance. The boss offers Anaconda to join him, promising her maximum profit and no claims for a broken nose. He offers her to be his wife. He grabs him by the collar. Anaconda warns that if she ever hears such a thing come out of his mouth again, she'll have to shut him down for good. But Bat tells the girl that if something happens to him and the guildmaster doesn't get his items, it will be bad for everyone, and he won't spare even a famous warrior like Flower Anaconda. He shows her the amulet saying that he has been promoted, and she doesn't realize what she is losing. If she joins him, she will gain greatness. He offers her to become the leader of this camp and rule the children. Chen realizes that this amulet is the hidden mission. The skeleton starts to draw his sword. The fat man notices it and doesn't remember seeing it before. He thinks it's Anaconda's brother. Chung activates his powers by drawing his sword. The guy stabs the boss, planning to take away his secret mission. Anaconda is shocked. She obviously didn't expect this. She yells at the skeleton why he did it, and the boss accuses Anaconda of controlling the warrior, and now she won't get out of the camp alive. But Bat didn't die from Chung's attack, which means he has a defense item. The boss is using dark magic to attack skeleton. He is stunned to see that his attack is ineffective. The boss wonders why the skeleton is not taking damage from his attacks. Chung's characteristics are shown: high magical defense and resistance to various types of damage. Bat, realizing his powerlessness, tries to surrender and give up all his equipment just to be kept alive. Chung, tired of listening to the fat man's chatter, decides to finish him off. A powerful skeleton warrior attack pierces through the boss's body. Ghost Bat's body falls to the ground, with 2 rings falling out of his hand. One of the rings is a level 10 stone giant ring, with powerful stats and a passive skill that neutralizes deadly attacks. The second ring is a unique quest item, the Grieving Lamb Test Ring, which is for players level 40 and below. Chung, impressed by the quality of the rings, considers it an incredible fortune to obtain them, especially since one of the items will unlock a dungeon in the valley. He decides to give the Ring of Protection to the girl. Anaconda yells at the skeleton that he is a sumo madman. Because of his actions, they will not get out of here alive. The ring is connected to a boss NPC related to necromancy and intends to complete the quest. After gathering enough information, the guy hurries to the dungeons. Anaconda does not understand where he is going. He needs to hurry to the dungeon before someone else completes the mission. Passing by a pallet of knights, Chung hits one of them and the knight spills wine, shouting at the guy that he has no eyes. The knight looked at his eyes and was startled to see that they were red. With a quick movement of his hand, Chung takes the knight's life, deciding that the first item of the plan for today is to destroy all the tiger hunters in the camp. The knight's head flies off. It falls on the knight's table, terrifying them. They scatter in fear, scattering everything in their path. The leopard hears strange noises and turns around. Skeleton warrior kills the mountain goat knight, gaining 100 evolution points. His current point count is 52,000. Anaconda scolds Necromancer for what her skeleton did. Now they're all finished. Chung has analyzed that the players here are level 14 rookies, no threat to him. The knights are ordering the skeleton not to move. The knight yells that this guy is from the Flower Anaconda team and they broke the camp rules. He offers skeleton 2 options. The first is to leave the equipment and leave the game. Before he can speak, Chung attacks him with lightning speed. He pierces him with his sword and dark energy. The knight gives out a pained scream. The other knights shout that this warrior can't control himself and must be stopped. Realizing the situation is bad, they decide to attack at the same time to capture the rebel. Chung is very pleased that they crowd around him, which means that he can destroy them with one massive attack. The archer uses the investigation skill to identify the target. He fires arrows that fly straight at Chung. The guy notices the attack and is ready to dodge. Chung covers himself with the body of one of the players to cover himself from the arrows. The knights realize that they are dealing with a dangerous opponent who is skilled in lightning magic and swordsmanship and try to coordinate their actions. The knights try to keep their distance from each other. The skeleton activates his bone armor. The archer prepares to fire again, but Chung sees him. The skeleton warrior uses bone arrows to deal with the archers. He decides that he needs to disarm all the archers first. The knights attack the guy, but he easily parries the attacks using his arrows. He has 7 out of 50 bone arrows left. The bandits don't understand how a swordsman can wield ranged attacks. In front of the skeleton comes a huge warrior with an axe and shield, who orders his brothers to shorten the distance with the enemy, preventing him from using ranged attacks. Chung is not bothered by this at all. He notes that the knights have so many flaws in their stances. The skeleton tosses a wooden table that was lying on the ground and pushes it at the warrior with his foot. The knight realized that the skeleton was blocking his view. Only the warrior threw the table aside to attack the skeleton, but Chung was already beside him. The knight couldn't believe such incredible speed. The skeleton explains that heavy armor always has weak points in the joints. He lands many blows on the weak points in the armor, noting that wearing such armor at weak levels means losing speed and losing. Chung destroys his opponent. Calling him too weak, he gets another 100 points. The guy looks at the crowd of frightened knights and realizes that here he can earn a lot of points for evolution. The knights decide to release their special fighters. Leopard tells them that he has summoned a team of elite fighters who look like ninjas with sharp blades and belong to the guild's vice master Viper. Chung remarks that he has an advantage in characteristics that allows him to overwhelm his opponents, but these guys are quite high level and may have difficulties. The knights had already started to decide who would take the loot from the defeated skeleton, but Chung activated his quick steps ability to increase his speed by 20%. He attacked the warriors with great speed, but they could block his attacks as they were also quite strong and fast. Cheng notes that their techniques are not very high as opposed to their speed. He needs to deal with them quickly as a prolonged battle could derail the secret mission. Information appears about the appearance of the lamb spirit, which is part of the challenge. You need to fill the sight scale to summon it. The arrival of the high-level boss will cause all the monsters in the area to increase in level. Guy realizes that in order to fill the scale, he needs to defeat the monsters that will drop experience, but first he needs to finish off these knights. He also notes that the spirit of the lamb is only part of the mission, not the final goal of the mission. Information about Veronica, a powerful undead of level 99, who is the real organizer of this mission, appears. In addition to items and money, the player who wins will receive a rare profession-changing scroll. The knight scolds the enemy for being too cunning and dexterous. The warriors decide to drink potions to strengthen themselves since they can't handle the skeleton. The strength of the knights increased by 20% for 1 hour. Chung thinks only about the mission, and that he does not have much free time to fight. It is necessary to speed up and move to the center. The knights ask their comrades to shoot at the enemy without worrying that they might hit them. One knight says he has no ranged attacks. His partner suggests using whatever is at hand. Chung speeds up, the knights trying to surround him. The guy notices that the enemies use potions to increase their stats, while he sparingly used evolution points and saved them for more powerful opponents. But he realizes that he can't waste any more time. Suddenly, he is pierced by a blade. The second knight also strikes the skeleton with his sword, immobilizing the enemy. The warrior orders any skills or ranged attacks to be used, while the enemy is immobilized. The fire shells explode and a fiery flame envelops them. The knights are not sure if they killed the enemy. A warrior, breathing heavily, claims to have pierced the enemy through and he is dead. The smoke began to clear and the knight noticed something wrong. He saw his blade stuck between the bones. The system reports the development of the skill Thunder Strike to level 10 and unlocks a new skill, Lightning Body. The smoke completely cleared and the warrior saw his dead partner, who from the last forces called everyone to run. Chung looked with his red eyes at the knight, making it clear that he was next. The knight screamed in fear after realizing that in front of him is not a man, but a skeleton. The necromancer girl was sitting on the ground like a bewitched woman, and she was addressed. "Hey, rich brat!" Anaconda furiously asks how long the girl is going to pretend to be asleep and warns of the many hunters approaching. The system reports that the player has disconnected from the game. The redhead is shocked. Anaconda is perplexed when the girl is disconnected and wonders who is controlling Skeleton. She realized that the skeleton seemed to have regained consciousness, but that was impossible. A strong magical flash pierces through the tent where the girls are. The redhead doesn't realize what's happening. Anaconda looks out of the tent, noticing the pile of defeated players. She just can't believe that a single summoned skeleton did all this. She is afraid to come out. Chung stood in the center of the battlefield. He picked up the bloodthirsty bandit dagger, its characteristics and level 3 bleeding effect. The skeleton looks at the warrior's body and remembers that he once provided strength pumping services and was asked to purchase such a blade. Maybe it was this guy. And this guy was also involved in Chung's death in reality. He unleashes a devastating attack on the warrior's body. The redhead watched in horror. The skeleton gets evolution points and decides to focus on the main mission. He realizes that completing the mission will help the girl to change on purpose, and it will bring him great benefits. Chung reasons that the necromancer girl is offline and that she should be protected. If she dies, it will prevent her from returning to the game. Skeleton decides to find a trustworthy person to look after the girl while he fights. He finds Anaconda hiding in the tent. Deciding that the redhead is the perfect candidate for help, he approaches her, but the girl is afraid of him and his power. Anaconda warns the skeleton that if he gets close, she will tell the other tiger hunters about him, and the guy realizes that she is scared. Chung puts his hand on her shoulder trying to calm her down because he needs help and has no one to turn to but her. He has to be as gentle as possible with her to calm her down. The girl asks if he will attack her. The girl remembers that all along their journey, the skeleton has been protecting them, and he is not hostile to her. She wonders if it is really the skeleton that has found its own consciousness. Anaconda finally realizes that he's not just a summoned skeleton dummy. She calms herself, realizing that he won't hurt her. Chung grabs her by her cloak, starts to drag her. He has no more time. Anaconda asks where he is taking her, but the skeleton is silent. There's a massive explosion. The knights cry behind their camp. They realize that because of the destruction of their command, they are now single players. Anaconda lifts the girl's body up, saying that she is the goddess of the Valley of the Solitary Players. The Knights of the Tiger Hunters Guild discuss how they miscalculated by underestimating her power, and they are glad that she showed up and freed them from the ungrateful bosses. Chung is pleased to have found her. They announce to everyone that there is a reason why the Tiger Hunters used them. Anaconda tells them that the guild was interested in finding secret dungeons, so they took the players' supplies, used them for labor, and wanted to keep the reward. The Knights believe Anaconda and agree with what she says. The girl explains to them that they are not bad. They just wanted to stop the guild from playing unfairly, for which they were persecuted. She suggests that they unite and strike the guild in the center of the valley and take revenge on them. Anaconda shows the knights the resources they have gathered over time. She suggests that they take the loot so that they can become stronger and be able to defend themselves and fight back. The trophies include fire serpent venom, a deadly poison for mages, a ghostly spider web, and many other things that will make the knights better. Chung rejoices, for the plan has succeeded. But it seems that someone noticed the anomalies and came to find out. An unusual fighter in armored armor and hood approached the crowd. The guy has little time left. He has to move on. Anaconda asks him where he is going. The girl asks the knights to take what they want and divide them on the way to the center. If they go in a crowd, they will be quickly found and spoil the plan, and she asks them to destroy all the guild knights on the way. Anaconda runs up to Chung and says that she did what he wanted. She didn't know that their goal was to destroy the guild. The skeleton didn't answer, and the girl thought that the skeleton was very cunning. It seems that even recruiting her was part of his plan, and it worked. But now the Tiger Hunters Guild has to be gotten rid of, and they are on their way. Anaconda doubts if their plan can work. The skeleton stops after noticing something, and the girl hits his head. They are attacked, and Chung covers the redhead and fends off the attack. Ahu slowly approaches them. A mysterious warrior in dark armor appears, praising the skeleton for his cleverly repulsed attack. Chang recognizes the attacker as a shadow assassin, who becomes a shadow assassin after the assassin specializes in the profession. This assassin must have high skills and strength, but the guy hopes he can handle him. The assassin accuses the boys of causing havoc in the valley and destroying the camp by giving resources to the losers to get to the hidden mission. He praises them for their clever plan to infiltrate the central zone of the valley. Anaconda asks them to stop this pointless conversation. They just want to leave and aren't looking for a fight. Assassin says he wants to go with them, which surprises the guys. He adds that he's not interested in the secret mission. He has a different goal. The player's goal is to kill Viper, but he agrees to fulfill the guys' conditions if they let him do it with his own hands. He looks at the skeleton and asks if they have a deal. Unfortunately, the author never continued working on this story, but perhaps one day it will still happen, and we'll find out how the thrilling adventure of Jiang Cheng and his friends ended. Did he manage to reach the boss and uncover the mystery behind his transformation into an in-game skeleton? In any case, even this small fragment of the story turned out to be very captivating. Write in the comments if you liked the story and if you would like to see its continuation.